Get ready, it's time for more TGS impressions from Reiwa Gaming Matt.
Hi everyone, Matt here, and well, we've reached the end of the road for Tokyo Game Show 2020, the online streaming event that was involved with lots of Japanese video game companies and some Western ones as well, to take the place of the original planned Tokyo Game Show, of course, canceled due to the virus. It's been an interesting 4 days to see all these shows and announcements and presentations that we usually see in person in Tokyo, in a big hall where you can actually play the games, transported online. And I think they've done a really good job about it. I'm going to talk more about that at the end, though. But yeah, today was the final day. And it was mostly a day of just showcasing games that we kind of knew about that were coming out. A lot of talk about some games that are going to be very interesting to see in the next few days, next few months. For instance, there was a stream tonight about tomorrow's release of Genshin Impact, the game famously known for being heavily inspired by Breath of the Wild, to the point that people felt that it was just a ripoff of Breath of the Wild when it was first shown, and even a gamer in China going to the booth of the company and destroying their PlayStation 4 in protest over this. Ironic since it's coming to the Switch as well. That game comes out tomorrow. I'm looking forward to playing it. Hopefully it's good, but it is a gacha game, so who knows. And of course, there were other games that were talked about that were interesting, that people like a lot. Of course, like the Sword Art Online games had some new things to talk about there that they were releasing, like new DLC or new additions, new updates. And other games, of course, there were tons of games talked about, but not a lot of real new news, but there are a couple of good nuggets there to talk about, and I'm going to talk about those first. And of course, we also have the Game Awards, which Japan has every year, the Japan Game Awards, and we're going to talk about the winners of that event because there's a pretty interesting results there. But first, let's talk about the news of the interesting games that were talked about today, of sort of the new games that are coming out, the announcements, and news about recently announced games. The first thing I'll talk about is Koei Tecmo. They had a big 20th anniversary Dynasty Warriors stream today, and as we were expecting and as we were kind of promised, there was an announcement of a new Dynasty Warriors game, Dynasty Warriors 9 Empires. Now, if you're not a Dynasty Warriors fan, you might not know that Dynasty Warriors has these kind of update titles for each of them that really add on new characters, new modes, new levels, and Empires is one of those updated games that comes, from after, like, for example, the official game, the original game, I should say, like, usually comes like a year later or so. Now, Dynasty Warriors 9, known as Shin Sankoku Muso 8 in Japan, came out, 2 years ago, and it was a very controversial title because, unfortunately, it was a game that had changed the original direction of the game from, like, confined levels into something that goes into a, how should I say, a open world, yes, and open world and Dynasty Warriors sounds like a cool concept on paper, but apparently gamers didn't like it. It wasn't very good. I never actually got a chance to play it myself, but I'd heard nothing but bad things about that. Now, hopefully, fans are going to be happy here, though, because they're saying that this version of the game, Empires, will not have that form of gameplay. The open world is gone. It's going to be more focused levels, just like the original series is, and it's going to be basically what you expect from a Dynasty Warriors game. So I think a lot of people are going to be very happy because, yes, it was a very polarizing title between Dynasty Warriors fans that came out. So Dynasty Warriors 9 Empires, good announcement, and it's nice to see the 20th anniversary being celebrated for Dynasty Warriors. Great series. As you know, we talked about Hyrule Warriors, one of the spin-offs. I would love to see a Gundam Warriors game again. It's been a while since we've seen one. Please, come on, Koei Tecmo, make another one. I really would love to have another one in that series. Other than that, there was, of course, new information regarding Final Fantasy 16. Final Fantasy 16, of course, was announced way back last week during the PlayStation 5 price unveil and the release date unveiling, their last big showcase to showcase all the stuff that's coming out before on the PS5 in the future. And Final Fantasy 16 led that show. It was the first trailer on there. It was also the only trailer which was not directly taken from PlayStation 5 footage. It was taken from PC footage. And tonight, Square Enix did have a Final Fantasy 14 event that they streamed for Tokyo Game Show. And the producer Naoki Yoshida was there, and they did talk about Final Fantasy 16, they talked about that trailer and they talked about the future plans for the release of the game in terms of information. And the first thing they said was apparently that yes, a lot of people were talking about how the graphics didn't look as good as people expected, and they've taken note of that from people, and they've said that the game is still being worked on. The graphics are not final. There's still a lot of work to go, so don't worry about that. Apparently, they also are going to make a website for more information on Final Fantasy 16. That will come out next month in October. Hopefully, we'll have some nice little nuggets information, a little bit of like character bios, maybe some pictures in the game, something to tell us about what it's going to be all about. Obviously, nice little preview site will be very good, but we're not going to get any more real deep information until next year. But we will get that website next month sometime. Also, they talked about how in the trailer they didn't want to like release a trailer that was just CG video. One of the problems, of course, that gamers have, and I do too, is whenever you see like a CG trailer video that's not actual gameplay, it makes you feel like you're not actually seeing the game, and you're thinking, "Oh, this game is like months away," or it's not really like truly representing what the game is. That's been a big complaint about Xbox over this summer, with their reveals being mostly CG trailers and not actually taken, or PC gameplay that's not taken from the system. And apparently that they made sure to make sure there was a actual gameplay in the trailer, even if it was still rough or it was still in early form. They wanted people to say that this game is coming along. It's more than just a CG trailer and is maybe sooner than you think. So it's good to see that they're talking about those things, that they care about those things. The Final Fantasy 14 team is a great team, and they are worth following. I think they're going to do a great job with this game. I cannot wait to play it. It's going to be a lot of fun. And also, there was a trailer I noticed that Sega released for a new mobile game that takes place in the Sakura Wars franchise called Sakura Revolution. Apparently, it takes place very far in the future in terms of this series. I don't know a whole lot about it. It's kind of weird because I'm a big Sakura Taisen, Sakura Wars fan, but I've been kind of like not taking an eye on this information. That it's going to be a cell phone game. It's coming out this year, and they're making a lot of promotions about that. And hopefully it does well, and hopefully it's a good game. I'm a little skeptical again because it's a cell phone game, but I am a Sakura Wars fan, and I've bought and played so much of that series, and even the smaller games and the side games and the pocket like watch type games that they had in the past. So I want to check it out. So there's a trailer there if you want to see it. Sakura Revolution. Hopefully it'll be a good title for Sega. But of course, the big news today, I guess you could say, was that they had the annual Japan Game Awards. Now, every year at this event, at Tokyo Game Show, they have these awards where they announce the winners of the best game of the year according to the Japanese game associations and also the Ministry of Economy, Trade, and Industry of Japan. They have these awards for the best game, the grand prize. They also have 10 games they pick for excellence, and a lot of smaller awards too. Now, yesterday I said that we were going to talk about the smaller awards today. They did hand them out yesterday, and there were some interesting winners there. For instance, the Global Award for Japanese product was won by Pokemon Sword and Pokemon Shield. Obviously, Pokemon Sword and Shield was a very popular title last year, and obviously got a lot of feedback from fans, and both good and bad, but it was a big seller, and it was obviously a good choice for that award, as it always is. Interesting enough, the Global Award for Foreign Product went to Call of Duty Modern Warfare. Of course, Call of Duty actually does well at these awards usually, so it's not surprising there, and Modern Warfare is a popular one here. There was a special award that was given to the game Dragon Quest Walk, which is a Pokemon Go like Dragon Quest game for cell phone gamers. It's meant for you to go out and exercise and play Dragon Quest at the same time. It's something I need to really play because I'm a huge Dragon Quest fan. And I still haven't played that. And the Best Sales Award was also rewarded. And I should mention that before as I go on to the rest of the awards. All these awards take place from the last fiscal year. So from April 1st, 2019 to March 31st, 2020 for all these awards. They just do the last fiscal year. So the best-selling award for that time was Pokemon Sword and Pokemon Shield. Um, Obviously, if they were extending the length of this award time to now, that wouldn't be the case. But of course, during that time, it was the highest selling game, and so it got the award for that. Lastly, there was a Game Designers Award that was given. It was decided by some Japanese game creators, and there were four games that were nominated. One of them was 13 Sentinels Aegis Rim, the Atlas visual novel game that's now out in America. It's really, really good. Nocia, this was originally a Vita game, now it's bought onto the Switch. I haven't played it, but I've heard good things about it. Outer Wilds, which is a really awesome space game you can play. Is like, you're going into space and exploring planets, and you have this 20-minute time limit. It's a great Western game. I love it a lot. And Baba Is You, another Western game. Apparently it's from Finland. I've heard of it, but I've never played it. And in the end, the winner was Baba Is You. I'm kind of surprised that that game won. I never really heard of it, but it was obviously apparently a big influence on those game creators, so they really liked it. I would have probably picked 13 Sentinels or Outer Wilds myself, but like I said, I haven't played all four games, so I can't really be fair there. But those were the big awards for yesterday. Now today was the really, really big awards, and that is the awards for the Game Excellence Awards and the Grand Prize Game of the Year Award. Again, all of these awards are for fiscal year last year, 2019. So from April 1st, 2019 to March 31st, 2020. So you're not going to see Last of Us 2 or Ghost of Tsushima or Final Fantasy VII Remake on this list. Anything from that old time period will be on here. Next year, you'll obviously see Final Fantasy VII Remake and Ghost of Tsushima and Last of Us 2, and I'm sure Cyberpunk and many other games will make it there. But that will be next September when we hear about it. So they announced 10 winners of the award for excellence. And I'm going to read all of them to you. And let me tell you right now, there was a big surprise here. This is the first time in many years that there was not a Western game on this list. They're all Japanese games, and they're all fantastic. The games that were announced were Ring Fit Adventure from Nintendo, of course. Persona 5 The Royal from Atlas. Next was Pokemon Sword and Shield from the Pokemon Company. 13 Sentinels Aegis Rim from Atlas. Death Stranding from Sony. Fire Emblem Three Houses from Nintendo. Monster Hunter World Iceborne from Capcom. Yakuza Like a Dragon, also known as Yu Ga Gotoku 7 from Sega. That game, of course, coming out later this year in America. Nioh 2 from Koei Tecmo, and finally Animal Crossing New Horizons from Nintendo. Those were the 10 games that won the Best Excellence Award. So basically, these were considered the 10 best games of the year. Just looking at the list here as I'm reading it down, Nintendo has 3 titles in the top 10, and the Pokemon Company has 1 title there. Nintendo's related there, so basically 3.5 or 4 titles, depending on how you feel about it. Atlas has 2 games in the list, which is pretty good. Sony has 1 because of Death Stranding. Capcom has 1, Sega has 1, and Koei Tecmo has 1. But in the end, of course, there's going to be only one grand prize winner, and it is no surprise what that winner is. It is the highest selling game of the year so far this year. It is a game that's been a global phenomenon and has been a huge, huge success in Japan, breaking all boundaries and breaking all expectations. And that, of course, is Animal Crossing New Horizons. I think it would be, even though it's not my favorite game of that list, last year I liked Death Stranding more in terms of the games that are listed here. All these games are fantastic. All these games are wonderful. But really, when you think about it, I think it's the perfect winner because Animal Crossing New Horizons was such an important game for this industry, such an important game for this time that we're living in, this terrible, virus-stricken and horrible bad news everyday thing. And especially when we're all stuck at home dealing with all the bad things, to be able to play a game that kind of is just fun and unique and just enjoyable as, building up your own island and having fun with friends and the interesting internet stuff that's in that game, with the connection, you can bring your friends in or visit other people's islands. It's just a fun experience. And, obviously the sales have been phenomenal. So it's, I think, the perfect game to say for this fast fiscal year that is the best game there. Again, it's not my game of the year, but I definitely have no trouble with that being the best game of this year for the last fiscal year for Japan. So wonderful news there for those companies. Congratulations to them all. All 10 winners of Excellence Awards deserved it, and the Grand Award winner did too. And also, yesterday's award winners were fantastic as well. And that's basically it for today. And I just want to give my final feelings about Tokyo Game Show 2020 in general. As I said before, this, of course, was an all digital event. And, we've seen some other of these digital events this year, but I think that really, for me, because the time difference, I could actually sit down and watch a lot of these things. It was really good how it was handled. I really loved how they brought the Tokyo Game Show panels that you can go actually see in person when Tokyo Game Show is actually held in person. You can see those online. That was really fun. You can see the creators that you know that you love, the producers that are there. Lots of really great things to talk about. Lots of interesting little tidbits on games that they're working on, and even little surprises here and there. Not a whole lot of surprises, but we got a few nice things. Of course, we got the Nier announcement for the release date coming out next year, and that nice special edition. We got, of course, the Microsoft press conference that wasn't really that great. But it was interesting to see some of the good stuff out of there, particularly the flight simulator thing looked really, really nice. The Final Fantasy 16 information, of course, was nice to hear today. Megaton Musashi yesterday was a game that I'm looking forward to. Disappointed by the fact that they didn't have anything to talk about, really, other than just the little gameplay footage, but no release date. I'm kind of disappointed about that. But of course, the big surprise for me was Virtual Fighter coming back in some way. We still don't know the whole details about that, but somehow Virtual Fighter is coming back in the next few months or years, and it's going to be dealing with some esports, and hopefully it means a Virtual Fighter 6, but we'll never know until Sega decides to spill the beans. But yeah, I really enjoyed these past 4 days. I love going to Tokyo Game Show. I've been a few times. It's a fun thing to do. It's kind of hard to go to because it's really crowded, and it's hard to really be able to do a lot of the things that you want to do there. But it is something that's worth going to see because it's always great to enjoy the show, get the freebies, see the great events, and try out games that are going to be out like in 6-7 months. That's always a fun thing to do. And especially, even though Japan, many people say Japanese games have kind of fallen over the years and they've had a rebound recently, Tokyo Game Show is kind of similar, and it's getting better, and it's really nice. But it doesn't have that same significance that E3 does, or even maybe Gamescom anymore, but still it's very important to Japanese gamers and to people like me who love Japanese games. Obviously, I hope next year that the world situation is much better and that we can have a Tokyo Game Show that we can actually go to, because while this experience was fantastic and fun, it's not the same as going to the event in person. It's a much better experience. To get your hands on those games is great. I would have loved that. And definitely, there's a lot of games that were talked about this week that I'm looking forward to playing in the future. Hyrule Warriors, Densha de Go, like I said, Megaton Musashi. I'm going to try the new Dynasty Warriors 9 game, I'm sure. There were a lot of things missing too. I would have loved to have seen something Gundam. I would love to have seen a new Super Robot Tyson announced. Hopefully those get announced sometime soon. But hey, you can't have everything you want. But what we got was really nice. And so that's going to wrap it up for the Tokyo Game Show information that I've been putting out this last week for the last 4 days. I want to say if you have been watching, and especially if you've watched up to this point in this video and also my last videos, a big thank you. I've seen my numbers just go through the roof over the last few days. It's not the greatest numbers in the world, but for me, it's really humbling. And I want to say thank you so much for checking out my channel and listening to my opinions. And I hope you like them. I'm a little bit nervous. I'm still doing this, as a fun thing. I'm still getting started on these things with YouTube and doing my own commentary. But if you're interested in what I do, I'm just going to say right now, this channel is about talking about not only Japanese games. Of course, we're going to talk about Japanese anime in the future. We're going to talk about living in Japan. I am a Japanese resident, and I love talking about this world of games and the pop culture and all that. And while this game is focused on while this channel is focused on Japanese games, I'm going to continue talking about other things too. I had a series I'm working on, of course, gaming in Japan. We talked about the best places to get deals, where to buy games in Japan, and we're going to talk about more topics in the future. So definitely look out for that. Got some reviews I'm going to be working on. So if you're very interested in Japanese gaming, or interested in Japan in general, please, I would love for you to continue to watch the channel. You can subscribe, of course. You can give a like or dislike, either or is fine. And of course, comments are great. There's some great comments so far this year and this week, and I would love to hear more. So I hope that you continue watching my channel. I promise to give the best information and the best viewpoints on Japan. That's hopefully not with snark and not with snide comments like a lot of other people do. I really love this place that I live, and I love Japanese games in general, and I really want to be able to showcase that love of games and love of Japan in a positive way and not in a negative way. So that's where we're going to go through it. So hope you can continue on this journey with me. But for now, thank you very much for enjoying the Tokyo Game Show 2020 commentaries. And later this week, I will have some more videos. So thank you very much. Everyone, have a good week. Stay safe. Take care. See you soon.
Keep it here for more Japanese gaming news, reviews, and commentary. It's Reiwa Gaming Matt. See you later.